All right, guys. So today we're going to work on inserting the attachments that we've uploaded to the post into the body of the article. So let's have a look what we're going to be doing. So currently we have this. You can upload files here. And now what we're going to do is when you hit insert, we shove it straight in there. So we'll just be creating embeds for the attachments, which will be living in our Slate editor. So let's jump in. All right, team, we're back at it again. Let's go and insert these attachments into our editor. So to do that, we need to do a few things. So firstly, we're going to need to add a new element. So I think the first thing we'll do is an image embed so that we can insert these images. So let's just double check firstly, if we upload an image, so let's chuck in this guy. All right. Now what we want to see is, are we getting the height and width? It looks like we are. So if we just sort these by, wow, that was weird. So I think it was this image here, most recent, the 29th. We're getting the width and the height, so that's great. And we're also going to see we're getting the file extension here. So what we want to do is we want to add, so we had a util in here called custom editor. So what we want to do now is when we insert, we want to have a little method here called probably insert attachment, I believe. So I'm just going to leave that open. And then inside of our components, we've got our post editor. And this is the index file. So let's see what we got here. And then inside of the elements, we've already defined that. And then the editor input, we've got our rendering the elements here. So we've got the image. And what does the image embed look for? The URL. All right, so what we're going to want to do here is, that's just a plain image embed with the URL. We want to do, let's do an attachment embed. So we'll create a new element here called an attachment. Project embed, yeah, we'll call it attachment and embed. All right, set that up. All right, and we're going to need all of our things. So maybe we'll just grab them from project. Where are you? Attachment embed. There. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go and fetch the attachment by ID, because we're going to store that as an ID rather than an URL. So it looks like we don't even need this in here, so I'll just get rid of it. All right, so we're going to pass that through, and then we're going to have an attachment embed here. All right. And then we'll call this the same thing as this. It'll be a my 4x4 attachment. We're just namespacing these things so that we know that these are things in our DB. All right. Okay, cool. Now what we want to do is look at how we are embedding from our custom editor. So in our custom editor, we're doing this transforms and we're inserting nodes. So when we do something similar, so we're going to have like handle attachment, handle insert attachment, I guess, something like that. So it'll be here, it'll be handle insert let's call handle attachment insert. Because what we're going to do is we're going to call this method when we click on the button. And we're going to pass in the editor and the TRPC client. So that's cool. All right, so for now, I'm just going to go console.log. I'm just going to log these things all out. All right. Now, we can do that. So if we're looking at our attachment here, I'm just going to also write here. All right. Now, we need to handle that within our form. So that's inside the post form. And so where are we looking? So we're looking at, these are all the files. Now that's in the post form here, we have access to the editor. All right. So we can probably pass this in to attachments. All right. So we'll pass that through here. All right, so then what we're going to do is when we click this button here, we're gonna wrap this. I wonder if we can use a button. Let's just see what a button looks like, and we're going to do extra small, and we want a variant of link. I'm going to just say insert. Let's just see what this looks like. So it'll just look like that. That's actually pretty good. Can even probably make that small. Right. Just make sure that, there we go. So we now have that, so we can get rid of this guy. And I think with the same concept here, we'll do with the download as well. And then we can just do a span here. Just to give that break there, yep. And then we're going to have that download. Sweet. I might even flip these around because realistically insert will be something you'll want to use more frequently than downloading your asset again. All right. Okay, so now when we click insert, we want to add an on-click handler here. And we are going to import from our utils, we're going to import, it's going to be called custom editor. And then on click, we are going to say custom editor dot handle attachment insert. Now we know the attachment here, so we can probably pass that through. So I'll just fix this up. So what do we need to pass in through here? We need to pass in the editor. We need to pass in the event. So we can just say E, because that's how we'll get it here, event. And then we need to pass through the TRPC client. There. All right. Now let's see, when we click on this insert button, we should now see an error. But what else do we have here? We've got the three things. We've got our children, so that's our editor. And that's saying there's nothing there, which is odd. Let's hit that again. I wonder why what this is doing. Very interesting that our editor says it has no children though. So we got to check that out. And then this is, what's this? Hooks. Highlight logger error. Oh, okay. I wonder if that's a highlight error. That's all right. Okay, so let's figure out why editor is coming through with no children. So let's see what is going on here. So if we go into our editor, so post form, we should only be rendering this if we have editor. So realistically, that needs to exist. So I'm wondering why that's stale. Console.log. Let's just see what's going on here. Children 1. Children 1. Okay, so it's definitely right there. So if we now check console log here, it's 1. But when we hit insert, okay, it is 1. Okay, that must have just been a weird rendering bug. All right, so we definitely got the editor. What I also want to do is I want to pass through here. I also want to pass through the attachment. I'll handle attachment insert. So let's pass through that into our custom editor. So we're going to have a fourth param here called an attachment. And we're going to put that there. I'm wondering why we're getting a throw there. Input argument is not an 8, okay. Hit insert. Why hooks last arg is not a function? Highlight logger error, type error. Hooks last arg is not a function. Weird. Okay, I don't know what that is. That just seems like a log highlight session logging errors being annoying. Anyway, so what we can see here is we got 3 children, and then here we've got our attachment. Now what we can do is we're going to insert, depending on what file extension we've got here, we're going to render out something different. So the first thing that we'll do is, I think it's quite simple. So firstly we need to say, well, that's famous last words, we need to get the current position. I wonder if we can just insert nodes. So what I'm going to just try now quickly is just insert nodes. And the children, the text will be nothing. But we need that so we can select it. And this will be a my 4x4 attachment. All right. And then what we can even do is we can say attachment ID is attachment.id. Now what we're going to have to be, I guess you can only hit insert attachment if there is an attachment, so that's always going to be there, and that's the type there. We could even add in the size and the width if we wanted to here, or we can do that when we fetch it, which I think we'll probably just do when we go and actually fetch this. So let's go and find this type. It's interesting. My 4x4 Let's see if that goes away. So it doesn't like. So type children text string. So I think that comes from here as well. So this could be a attachment ID. And that's optional, that's a string. It's actually a custom child element, realistically. But that's fine. And then those errors are gone. Okay, so let's just see what happens now. If we, firstly I want to try what happens if you're not even clicked on anything. If you just hit insert. Okay, so it sets it into the beginning if you haven't selected anything. So that's okay. Now if we here, it adds it in there. Okay, cool. So you can see now what we're doing is we're hitting insert, and then what we're doing is we're calling the transforms insert nodes. Now let's just check Slate.js. So let's just see if we can put it at the end. So insert nodes, at, so here's the at. So we can do this. Okay, so insert nodes, let's just see what this looks like. So here. So that's the array of objects, and then the last param is this, I believe. So we have something like that, and we're saying put it at the end, because instead of the beginning. All right, so let's refresh this. Now we haven't selected anything, we just hit insert and it puts it at the end. That's awesome. That's exactly what I want. And then if can't resolve slate point from DOM point. That's interesting. I wonder if that's something. I wonder if I have to move to that after as well. Move to. Yeah, I feel like we have to move our cursor to the end. Insert text, custom, insert paragraph. There's definitely something called move. Move the selections point forward or backward. Move the selections point. Yeah, I feel like it's got something to do with this. So if we cannot resolve a slate point from DOM point. All right, let's not do that. Let's just leave this for, oh wait. Let's just go back in time. We don't think we were getting that error before. Insert, okay. Something weird's going on there. Type my 4x4 attachment, children. Okay, you know what it is? It's in here. So when we render this, we need to remember to do all of this, because we need to set the children, which is the slate children. And then this, all of this here, we can just write here as the attachment. This is all very important. Now if we hit insert, there we go. Okay, we have to make this a void element as well. It's a few little things. Void, that lives inside of the wrapper, which is, I think, a util with embeds. Here it is. Here we go. We need to remember to do this. This is a void object. Let's do it now. Insert, let's go here. Okay, so we also have to remember to add the empty line. It's all coming back. It's all coming back. Custom editor. So you can see here when we insert a project, we insert a paragraph as well. And that just helps us have somewhere to select after. So let's do that again. Insert. There we go. There we go. Sweet, now we can do our thing. All right, sick one. What are you talking about, mate? Strange, okay. I think I just did something weird. So if we just insert that again, type. All right, good. I must have done some weird. Yeah, okay. Sweet as, looks like we're on. So if I just go back here, and refresh this page. Refresh the page, I clicked on the box. So just go straight here and hit insert. Okay, it goes to the bottom of the thing. Cool, so it looks like it's all functioning. All right, so now you can see we've got an attachment here. All right, so now we're gonna do our special logic. Do we even use this event? Not at the moment, but I'll keep it there. The client. Do we need the client right now? Probably not, actually. So what we could even do is just pass through, I'm just going to pass through the editor and the attachment. So if we now go back to our attachments here, we're just going to pass through the editor and the attachment like this. Don't need E. Okay, cool. Now what we need to do is we need to fetch that from the server, the attachment, and then render it out. Okay, so to fetch the attachment now, we're going to jump into our attachment embed. And let's before we move on, let's just close all the stuff we don't need. So we don't need this, don't need that. All right, so similar to this, right? So we're going to pull in trpc. I'm going to just save that. And then what we're going to do here, sorry, I have to fix this up before I go. And then the element is also an object. So let's do this. We're going to grab the query. And now what we're going to do here is we're going to say attachment query is equal to trpc, and this is going to be attachments dot get attachment by ID. And then we're going to say ID is going to be element dot attachment ID. And then the data we get back is going to be an attachment. Now you can see we have, this is crying because it doesn't exist. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go set that up in the server. So new router, we're going to call this attachments. And we just have to be careful here and just make sure we are passing an attachment ID and not the post attachment ID. So let me just double check that. That is in our attachments here. So what are we're rendering attachment? Yeah, we are passing the attachment and not the post attachment. So that's good. I just need to fix this as well. It's called posts attachment. All right, so let's do this one. So images, do we have something similar? Images, update. So I'm just going to grab all this. Close that off. That's there. And this will be get image by ID, public procedure, that's fine. Input. Now this is a Z object. And it's just an ID string, great. And this is a query. And this is just going to be context prisma attachment dot find first where ID is that. I think that's all we need. And this is attachments router. We don't need activity and we don't need that. And we need to export this. All right. In here, we're going to have import attachments router from attachments. Let's sort this. So it's the second. So it goes here, attachments, bang. Now what we should see is this get attachment by ID, get image by. That's it. All right. All right, let's see what we get. Sweet. There we go. Okay, we're on. So you can see we've just fetched this from the server now, and you can see that we can get the file extension as JPEG there. And we got the file key, right? And the file name. Now, this will be very interesting to see if we can use our special friend for use image. So let's just find image thumb. We need to use our use image URL. Let's just see this thing. I wonder if, so this is really just use asset URL. But anyway, so I'm going to just keep that open for now, but let's just see how this can work for us. So if we grab this, and then we're going to say, we just need to make sure we don't return optionally. So we're going to say here, this will be asset URL. I mean, we can even, it's called image URL at the moment. Yep, so we have to leave it like that. So we'll just import this. This could be a readless slight refactor. So we're going to say don't do anything unless we have an attachment ID. We need a file key, which should be, if we look at the DB, that'll be the full file key. Yep, it includes attachments in front of it, so that's great. Focus auto, and the height, let's do 100 by 100 for now. We could even use attachment dot height and attachment dot width. Let's just, yep, we have to do this to be safe. All right, let's see what we get out of here now. I'm very interested to see what happens with PDFs. And there we go. So now we're getting a little URL here. Let's copy this value. Boom. All right. So that's working. Let's see what happens though. So we've actually lost the attachment. I'm interested why that's rendering. So if we insert this PDF, we're getting this now, which is cool, but what does it actually do? Oh, what? It renders the full PDF. So that's like, okay, so we can still use that for the asset URL, which is great. Doesn't provide any transformations though, but that's fine. It means we can access it at least. But what we want to do now is we're going to do something here and say const image mime types. Okay, so it's not actually image mime types, it's image extensions. File extensions. Can Copilot do it? No, not a BMP. When last we used BMP? And we also do PNG. So let's just double check. Okay, so these are the image file extensions. Now what we're going to say is const is image. We don't have to split anything. So we're going to just say image file extensions dot includes attachment dot file extension. Sure. And then we're going to say console.log is image. So you can see here the PDF is returning false. And then if we insert this one, that's a true. All right, so we got a true and a false. So now what I want to do as well is I want to say enables is if we have an ID and it is an image. Otherwise, we don't want the image URL, okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to render two different types of things here. And you can see there's a mistake here. There we go. Now we can see our attachments again. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to say if is image, we want to return. I wonder if we do this inside here so we don't have to rewrite all this wrapping stuff again. So we're going to say is image. Yeah. Then we're going to return something. And if it's an image, we're probably just going to insert. I wonder if this can handle an image, just a straight image here. Let's see. So if we go image, this is probably going to get a bit gross, but we can say width and height. And then I think we need source. And this will be now the image URL. So also we only want to render this if we actually have, if we have a URL. So what are you saying? That doesn't like it. Alt. So this will be attachment dot title, I believe. Ooh. Height and width and width. Now, why does it look so squashed? We want this to... What are you doing here, mate? Height and width is correct, but we want to scale this image. So let's go to chakra, and then let's look for image. Where are you, brother? Can we... Oh, I guess we could just say object fit, box size, object fit cover. So let's get rid of this and go object fit cover. Sweet. That's really cool. So now we're rendering that out. So let's try upload a different file. I just want to see what this looks like, something that's landscape. I mean, even a square is going to throw us some fun. So if we go here, insert that in. Boom. That's cool. Really enjoying this rich text editor. So we don't need this anymore. So we're going to say, if not an image, then it's just a file that we can't actually render in line. What we'll do is just show like a little attachment thing. Oh man, that's cool. That's really cool. So if you get rid of this, just like that, boom. This is sick. All right. So you could, oh man, you can jam now. Fully functioning rich text editor. So good. And then if we insert, so now when we insert this PDF, we're getting this thing. So that's cool. What we'll do here is we will insert, I wonder if you even do it. I wonder if we even bother with these, because these attachments, I mean, if you wanted to say you can download, you could do something like that, but I don't know if it's even worth it. I feel like maybe we just drop the inserts if it's not an image. I might pull this into a little util. Where could we store that? Let's just do this. Let's just call it image or asset. I'm just going to call it asset because then we can just have these exported here. All right, and then we'll just import that. Sweet, because then we can, the reason I'm doing this is we can use this in our list. So we actually won't ever have an image here or anything other than an image come through as an embed for now. We can always add, because we've called this attachment embed, we can always add it in later if we can think of something, a nice way of rendering this. But for now, I actually don't know. But we'll leave it like that because it is flexible. So we don't need this right now. Don't need this, don't need this, don't need you, don't need you, don't actually need you anymore. Also, what I want to do quickly while we are here is I noticed the elements, the toolbar, we don't need this image button. So we don't even need this anymore. Because I think all of these buttons are importing the editor themselves. So tidy that up, and now what we have is a bit of a tidier toolbar here. Not going to do that. So now what I want to do is let's go into the post form attachments, and then we want to say, let's import our util, import image file extensions, and then we're going to just say, same thing, is image. And then if it is an image, then you can insert it. But we also want to only render this. So this will become a fragment. So we can render these two things next to each other. Whoops. All right, so now when you've got a PDF, only can have the option of download. Otherwise, you get to see this. We also need to make sure that edit mode is enabled. Where are we checking edit mode? So just for upload files, but also it's edit mode, because you can't insert an image if it's not edit mode. All right, so this is my cool car in black, and then you can say, and this is it in white. So we should have it there, boom. Oh my goodness. There we go, we're now inserting images into the editor, just like that. That's really cool. I'm really happy with that one. All right, so that's inserting images into our attachments straight into the editor, just like that. So then the next piece, quickly, I'm going to just make sure we can, when we're highlighting over this, I want these buttons to be active or inactive, so you can see that this is got heading 1 on it. So let's jump in and do that. All right, so in our custom editor, we have this thing, is block active. All right, so we have this. So we are going to do something. So how can we do this call, make this call? Is mark active? Is block active? Right? So we can grab this. Let's do something. So if we go here, let's go const is active. And what do we need to pass through? Blocked editor and format. So the format and the editor, we've got all that. So now we can see if this is active. Console.log is active. And we also want to see what the format is here. All right. So let's open up our console. So this is heading 1. And make that a heading 1. False, 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 false. Okay, so am I in the wrong thing? I'm in the mark button. So we need to be in the block button. So anyway, let's just do the mark one. So this is this piece. We should, there, you can see we've got is active true here. So now if something's active, can we change this variant? So it's an icon button from Chakra. There it is. Is there an active state? I guess we could change the variant to change the style. So it could be outline or solid. Let's change it to solid. So if it is here, so we're going to say the variant is active, then it's solid. Otherwise, it's an outline. All right, let's see what this does now. Okay, so you can see solid. So now we can see that that's there. Now I don't like that color. Where do we go here? We can add the color scheme. Now, if it's active, yeah, sure, it's not blue, but anyway, we actually want it like this. But you can see there now, okay? So it highlights, but I want to copy these tags. Tag. Where are ya? Color scheme. Are we just doing black? Button text. Selected button text. So I think it's actually, yeah. Remove the color scheme and then I guess let's go color. Do the same thing. Yeah. So now if I do that, so we can see we've got now, we can tell when something's active. So this is very handy. Now we'll do the same thing. We'll do exactly the same thing here on the block button. Edit to format, and we're going to do is active, and we're going to do exactly the same. Now, we should, okay, so something, oh, it's not this, it's is block active. There we go. So you can see now we're still H1. So it's like, okay, we need to turn that off. Now, toggle. This is just a good way to say, like, show you that, something's going on. What I want to see quickly is, where are the color schemes? Scheme. Where are they? I'd like to see them all. Let's see what it says, if maybe the autocomplete will do it for us there. Blue, gray. Where's one of the black? Which I could probably just create. I'm being lazy. We'll just leave it for now. What I don't like is this hover. Once something's selected, that hover there, that's not good. I wonder if we can do hover. Okay. Let's try this. Yeah, then at least we just remove the hover. Great, that works. That will do for me. And I'll move these to the bottom. Sweet as. Now we have these marks and blocks active when we're going through it. So that's looking really cool. So that is most of the stuff, I believe, that we need in here. We can insert images, we can drop in links, we can embed projects. The other one thing that I want to quickly do is be able to set these and change them, because at the moment you can't actually change them. So I'm going to change this to shed time. We also need to show loading here, because that's disgusting. So that's taken me back to the post. But now, see, it's jumped back to general. We want to be able to set that. So let's do, we've done this before in project, so we'll just copy paste, because it's the easiest way. TRPC router projects, and this is update project. Now you can see here there's a transaction happening, and that's what we need to do. We want to delete the existing tags and then create new ones. All right. So inside of posts, we're going to have create post. and then it's the categories. So if we do get posts, update post by ID, here we go. So this now turns into a transaction, but what we want to do here is post categories is possibly undefined. Okay, so let's pull data out here into an object there, and we'll pull this out, and then we're going to say if input.category keys, then we're going to run this. Okay, and then this all just becomes data. What are you saying? Okay, and then this, we need to cast this. So this will be a, we've done this up here somewhere. No, not post where. Create. Post. Create input. So this will be a post update input. All right. So now if we provide category keys, we're going to map and we're going to connect them. Okay. But the other piece of the puzzle is this transaction. So we're going to say, we're going to change this a little bit. So this will be const result is equal to context of Prisma transaction. And then the way we do this is we do two queries. So it's this piece there. So that's now returning that. Okay. And then the other thing that we need to do here is delete the existing. Delete existing and then update. This is delete existing category keys. Now, one thing here is we only want to do this if we've actually been provided category keys. So we just have to be careful here. So this is posts categories where post ID. Okay, so that's how we delete them. But we only want to run this if, I wonder if we can add something to Prisma. I wonder if that should be optional. Let's see if we can make a Prisma query optional. Prisma delete many. You can't delete all, that's dangerous. I wonder if we can just say, what I could do here is this. We could literally just go, so delete, if we have category keys, it's going to be that. Otherwise it's going to just be undefined. So what it'll look for is all posts with the ID undefined, and it'll actually delete nothing. That's a bit of a hack, but I think that'll work. So let's just try this now. Let's change this to technical and trips and save that. Now if we go back and refresh, still hasn't done it. So let's just see what's running in here. So delete from where, post categories in. So that's obviously found them. Update posts, insert into post categories. So there should be something happening here. So let's go to the post. There's something here. I wonder, have I hard coded that? Let's see what's actually coming back. It looks like it's doing the job. So we go to pages, posts, edit. Let's log out this post. I wonder if we're even returning the categories with it. Nah, see, we don't even return the post categories. That's why we're not getting anything, and it's just defaulting, which is also weird. What is happening there? Tags. In category keys. So let's look what this is. Use post form. What is category keys coming out as? Is category keys. So that's just using the default state. Okay, so we've got a little bit of work to do here. So in here, when we fetch a post by ID, here, we need to include posts categories. And we want to include category key. I think you have to say include. Oh, it's select. All right, so now if we refresh this page, we should have categories. There we go, trips, technical. Okay, so now what we can do is we can use this initial, so let's just go where this post with includes and actually get what we're including. All of this. All right, that's what we're getting. What are you saying? Okay, that's fine. So now what we want to say is if post.cat post categories, right? Initial state dot category keys is equal to post.post categories dot map, and this is a posts category, and it's going to be post category dot category dot key. All right. Initial state. Anyway, let's ignore that. There we go. So now it's showing. So now if we change this to this and this, save it, go back, refresh, boom, done. All right, so now we can change the tags. So we can change the title tags, body, we can upload attachments, we can insert those attachments. Let's insert a picture here. We're going to insert this sick beast and go, thanks for reading. Save that. Now if we go back, how good. We can fully edit the posts now. I've got a rich text editor, all with custom embeds. That's looking really cool. I'm really happy with that. What else can we do in here quickly? We need to get the mutations. So in the post form, we also need this update post mutation because we're not getting that. We need is loading, is updating. Thank you. And we're going to say down here on the button is disabled as if it's loading or it's updating. And I think we'll change is loading upstairs to is creating. then we'll change cast this one to is creating. And now what we should see is thanks for reading, and then I hit save, it should load, done. That's it. All right, I'm pumped with that. From here, we are going to start setting up the forum itself and what that all looks like. So stay tuned, subscribe, and buckle in for the next one. See you, team.